Okay, next video. Going on to asparagus, which I'll do when I get up, because I'm gonna look at these videos, get them ready to convert, and once they're converting, I'm gonna go lay down for a little while, because I got up at 3:30 in the morning, because I laid down for a little while, and then I started canning the juice, and now we're at, I don't know, what time is it now? Oh my God, I think 6:30 in the morning. And Andre didn't go to sleep until like 5. Amari didn't go to sleep until like 4:30. This one says 6:11. So anyway, before I start this video though, with the asparagus, we're just gonna go through it, right, people? And the pork ribs, okay? I got 4 racks, so that's a lot to do. I almost feel like I need to order one more because it's so cheap, right? In terms of, I like what I'm doing, and another 2 more racks won't kill me, right? And then this way it's like you get a real big bang for your buck. I might, because pay the $5 and $6 in delivery, it might be worth it. Okay, so besides that point. So before I talk about this, and then we get into the video, I want to mention that I think over the next year, as I'm sorting out my papers and everything, and, and my life, right? And David Eby is the Premier of British Columbia, Canada. And we know that I took the government of British Columbia, Canada to court. That was the Attorney General and Public Safety Solicitor Public Safety Attorney General, the 2 ministries who are throwing it out of court. Everything's in limbo right now. But I have to find everything, right? And then once I gather everything up, including the appeal that was typed out with Rhea and myself, I'm going to go over that appeal again. I'm going to adjust it where I want to adjust it, because when she comes in and takes over what I did, she starts changing a lot of things, which I don't necessarily always feel comfortable with, but, I go with the flow. So actually maybe it's a good idea that I never submitted it, because it gives me now time to go back and reflect on what she changed. And if I'm comfortable with it, I'll leave it. If I'm not comfortable with it, I'll adjust it. And then I will, I might even try and get to the courthouse downtown, to the appeals court. I'll take the kids with me. I'll plan a day for it. I'll go early. And maybe whatever I have in terms of the quote-unquote, the appeal that's typed out, because I think you can make those little books with the little twirly binders on them. And I think you can, because you have to do 3 sets, 1 in green and 1 in yellow, with those little binders, right? And I never get out, people. I'm housebound, right? I don't have, just like Andre, I've been abandoned. Uncle Marcaine doesn't spend much time with him anymore, and neither does, they don't do, in terms of what they used to do with him downstairs with the school and stuff. He feels abandoned by it, and I'm like, well, don't worry, I feel abandoned too, right? Even today, just this morning, whenever, throughout the day, I was thinking about Shemay, thinking how if she was alive, she'd be here every day, helping everyday people. You know what I'm saying? But besides that point. So I might even be able to address, because the government of British Columbia, Canada, I put the appeal in, it went to them, eventually they responded in saying that they are disagreeing and want to throw it out, and nothing's transpired since then. So maybe I can file those papers that we typed out. So I'm going to see in the next few months. I'm not going to kill myself over it, people. It's a losing battle anyway. I'm up at $10 billion for the slush fund that taxpayers pay to cover up criminal activity within our public union sector employees, including the government itself as a whole. So I will make an attempt to go and do that in the next few months, providing that I can find all the paperwork. With the lack of eyesight and just being so overwhelmed with this, that, and everything else that I've been going through for the last 6 months with, what was going on in the summer with my stuff being put outside, and just what I'm trying to do for Amari right now, and, in terms of building up that staple that main menu staple with this few supplements connected to it so that I can not ever have to resort back to supplemental drinks. I'm just saying. I'm gonna either or, whether I make it back to the courthouse or not, I'm gonna try though, once I gather up what I need to find. And then I'm gonna put that all together, and I'm gonna write in between why I'm sending it to his constituency office. And I'll do it by registered mail, or maybe I'll take a bus, or maybe Tisha will drive me down there and we can deliver it personally with the kids. And I'm going to talk about how, what's happened to Uncle John, Andre. I'm going to just make it brief, right, in terms of this is why you got the whole package, and this is why I've sued the government, yada yada, and this is where I'm at. Right? I can't get a doctor to give me, to fill out my disability form, so I'm hooped, right? I fell through the cracks under orders, so-called orders, that prevented me from being able to get a referral for eye drops, which ultimately pushed me over the edge with late-stage glaucoma and made me blind, right? I'm being harassed by my landlord on a yearly basis, more than once in a year. It's not like she comes to me once a year, people, and says, I want $200 on the next check when it comes to raising the rent. No, she springs out of nowhere, either doing a solo, or we'll bring her, like that time when they were outside with the sun. And he started threatening me with the bins and all this stupid shit, right? Alex is out there just recently in the dark at 6 o'clock in the morning, pouring frickin' rain, unplugging her drain, while my son and I are bailing water and putting it in a garbage can and wheeling it up the frickin' driveway to drop it down into the alley, as it's in the laundry room in terms of water now, which is all going under the floorboards in the basement, okay, which just proceeds to create more mildew. And she doesn't want to pay the $100 to pay Alex for doing he snaked it so it would drain, people, because it was clogged up with fucking roots and mud and weeds and old this and that, and right, she hasn't snaked it out in years. And I want $3,000 a month. You don't pay enough. I'm gonna write it down that this is how I'm being treated. And then this was in November she did that in October, right? October 12th, right? And then come January, she's going to come and ask for more money because she raised it last January, all right? And prior to that, it was 2 times in a year. So she's going to come in January, and this time I'm going to say, well, I'm going the legal rate. That's it. I can't afford it because I have to cut back on everything, Mrs. Gill, so that I can pay, first of all, your rent. That's always been at the top of the list. And then tackle my credit card so that when I do leave this house, whether I can afford anything or not remains to be seen. But at the rate I'm going, I can't know. I have to put my priorities in check. And my priorities is pay the rent that is owed under a fair fucking contract. You can't have people move in with broken shit, have them live like that, and then guilt trip them when you fix them because you fixed them when they were broken before they even moved in. And then when things break, make them wait either years and years and years to fucking fix something, right? Or just, if it's not fucking years, it's like a half a year, or months, 3 months, with a fucking toilet that you can't use because if you flush it, everything goes and seeps into the drywall right above the freaking shower in the downstairs bathroom. Until such time you don't even, you got this mold spot growing with the drywall ready to come crumbling in because of the crap that's going on from the upstairs toilet. For months we lived with that stupid shit. It was so bad I had to take a bloody, and I'm telling everybody, come upstairs. And we stopped using the toilet up here once we realized what the hell was going on. I put I taped up, I pinned up a plastic bag, garbage bag, over that big freaking spot that was growing above the freaking shower because of the toilet upstairs. The main toilet seal was something to do with the pipe. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was a big job. And it took her like 3 fucking months. And I'm telling everybody, don't use that fucking shower. Come upstairs. That's nasty. You know, even without using the toilet upstairs, because we couldn't. So we're pissing in a fucking toilet, in a bucket, people. And then taking the pee downstairs. Like, come on. And that's not including that whole bathroom in general. Just stupid shit like that. And, you know, and she, right? And she constantly gaslighting me. She's going to come, I'm going to be like, okay, I don't know what, we'll just say $75. That's the going rate under the legislation. Oh, that's not good enough. You know, the people next door, they want me to kick you out so that they will rent this place out and make more money for the both of us. Well, then go ahead. I'll see you in court. Like, that's what it's come down to, people. Right? I told Andre today, Andre, you need to take more interest in like, with the computer. He's like been taking advantage of it, but I know in many ways he's reading more, which is good, but I'm trying to get him to understand, like, you know, priorities and this and that. And I told him, you need to practice the writing to be able to read better and spell and write sentence and write, okay. And he's stubborn. I don't, my printing's not nice. And I said, yeah, exactly. And, you know, you have to practice, right? And so anyway, so that he can maybe protect himself, people. Maybe protect himself. Because even when you can read and write and you have cognitive skills and you can comprehend what the hell it is that you're reading or you're writing or whatever it is and blah, 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 at the end of the day, when you're dealing with bad people that have all the resources and all the fucking tools and the work crew, right? They can't do it by themselves. You know, you're hooped. So that's why I'm going to just gather up my shit when it comes to that lawsuit and Fraser Health Authority and CIBC Bank. Right? I got enough photocopies around here. I'm sure I can put something together real fast without having to spend another $75 in photocopies. And I'm going to send it to the Premier's office. And I'm going to let him know that I'm facing fucking homelessness. Because, you know, for as much, and this guy, he tries to dispel, break apart, prevent institutional racism against the minorities. To who comes running in line first? If it's not the natives, it's the Punjabis, basically, right? Because to this day, the Punjabis still use that race card as somehow the government is oppressing them, when it's a fat out fucking lie. It's the Punjabis who are oppressing the Canadian people here that are like just normal people, everyday people that are like everybody else, just trying to survive and be good people. But these organized religions, they don't want that to happen because it takes away from them and their spot in life, right? So I'm going to let them know what's been going on with Shimei. Remind him. And here's the paperwork to prove that I filed the fucking lawsuits. That's how serious I am. And no, I am not frivolous. And no, I am not scandalous. And no, I have no energy or any inclination to be wasting the court's time. And I don't appreciate it when they come in with their funky fucking, what do you call that, case law, and then start talking on about somebody else's problems that have nothing to do with me or what I filed in terms of a lawsuit, to distract away from the issues at hand. And then I'm going to jot them down. 1, bullet point. 2, bullet point. 3, bullet point. As a reminder that no matter how hard the government tries, they can't sweep it under the rug. All the shadow banning on YouTube in the world isn't going to stop the truth from getting out there. And sooner or later, people are going to wake up, they're going to smell the fucking coffee, and for those that are losing their family members due to criminal organizations in disguise of politicians representing their constituency and their jurisdictions, you know, and playing lip service to institutional racism so they can get brownie points with a minority group, even though the minority group is the majority group that holds more than half the wealth in the province of British Columbia, Canada, as they use and abuse and mistreat the Canadian fucking people that live here as more and more and more are coming in. No, I'm the one that's facing institutional racism via through the Punjabis, forcing me out of my house and making it so that I can't afford any other fucking house because for some reason, all of a sudden, out of the blue, they decided that people like me and my family, and there's a lot of us, that we're not deserving of having a quality life while they prosper. So I got two things to do. Get to the freaking courthouse and work on my appeal and answer the government and say, fuck you, I'll see you in court, and when you throw it out, I will come back because there is no statute of limitation on murder. Shimei was murdered. Sierra was lured to her death. You can say that John was murdered because he was medically kidnapped and everybody worked and conspired hard to cover it up. So Eleanor Gilding, who is an employee to the government of British Columbia, Canada, can continue to walk the halls as a criminal. Stand your ground. And while you're at it, if you're going to throw me out into the fucking streets and make it impossible where I cannot house my family as my family, including my son and his wife, because, you know, we're going to want to live together because he's going to keep an eye on me. So he has to live in a fucking house, but not if he can't afford it because, you know, he's just half in white, black trash. Doesn't have enough money. Like, what the fuck? And you want to talk about institutional racism against the Punjabis? No. I will remind you it's the other way around. Damn right. If I was living in freaking Richmond and the Chinese were going on, and they do, the same way the fucking Punjabis are going on, I'd be complaining about the Chinese. But I don't need to complain about the Chinese because it's all one big barrel of freaking monkeys. And that's exactly what they are, fucking monkeys. Serious. Yeah, beating up on everybody else around them. Yeah, they're more than monkeys, they're like bullies. Anyway, okay, so now that I got that out of the way, I want to work on that over the next 6 months. Damn right. Yeah, sooner the better, but, you know, I'm so behind with so many other things, I can only do so much in a day, right? But as I go about my days, I'm looking for all my paperwork, yeah, and I'm still going to send all that information as I put it together, right? Because we got that lawsuit with CIBC Bank that just went off to the wayside and nobody ever told me what happened to it. I guess it's got thrown out of court. Who fucking knows? It wouldn't matter because it's one big cover-up anyway. I still do plan on sending the full same thing that I'm sending to David Eby, but it starts with when Uncle John was medically kidnapped and how that bank, CIBC Bank, to this day, who still tries to cater to me and tell me what a great customer I am because I've been with them for over 30 fucking years and they want me to sign up for a personal loan so I can consolidate my bills as if. No. I'm gonna contact the head office with all this paperwork that the premier of this province has so that you can investigate the fucking bank. How about that? Find out what the hell Eleanor Gilding did with that money that she had absolutely no right with to have because she had no real relationship under law with John to do what she did. Never mind have the province of British Columbia, Canada cover it up so she can go and hurt somebody else. So it's not just the Punjabis going around fucking hurting people. Eleanor Gilding is white. A fine Catholic woman. Yeah, one that's going to inherit a dungeon. And she won't get out for what she's done. Because she basically isolated Uncle John and made him die faster all alone by himself like a dirty secret, which is pre-fucking meditated murder. It just took a little while longer to murder him because she sat on that freaking inheritance that he had for over 14 fucking months without telling him. If that isn't premeditated, I don't know what is. So, you write all that shit down. You think you got a good case because you know you're telling the truth. And these mother effers, they just turn around and trash it, mistreat you, abuse you, call you this, call you that, threaten you with this, threaten you with that. So, in one way, I'm telling Andre, you need to get a handle on your freaking English language so that you can protect yourself when you need to protect yourself. Because if you rely on other people to do it for you, they're just going to take advantage of you. But then on the other hand, I think of Shimei. And I'm like, oh my God, she was such a whip. You know, she was high IQ, was coming in with honors with the English language. Right? You know what I'm saying? Okay? And what did it get her? Nothing. It got her fucking murdered with her murder covered up for body parts so that it can prop up their corrupt housing market that I can't afford to move in, as my landlady is basically fucking torturing me every 8 months. Kind of like the fucking pipes around here. All of a sudden they back up. You don't know when they're coming, but you know they're fucking coming. It's like clockwork. Give it between 8 months to 12, 15 months. Well, my landlady is the same way. Sometimes it's not so bad, it's tolerable. Other times it's a freaking, it's like an emergency. Yeah, okay. As she's telling me, you'll never have another house like this. Start getting rid of your shit. Make it easy on yourself. Yeah, okay. And who appointed you the what is that called when somebody assigns themselves to be your guardian? What kind of guardian does that to a human being? Get rid of your stuff. You will never have this again. You get ready to have nothing. Because that's what you deserve, because you didn't make the right life choices. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. For all I'm bugging Andre to get a handle on his English language so that when I'm gone, maybe he could protect himself when the bullshit comes knocking on his damn door. It's a waste of time. Shimei is a testament to that. Everything that I've been fighting for all these freaking years is a testament to that. But I have to tell Andre, you know, like, regardless, even if you feel like you don't get anywhere with it, you still gotta try. You still have to stand for something, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm gonna do. Now, let's get on with this, because that was obviously too long. So basically what we're looking at here is a woman's video where I think she's at Walmart. I think it's Walmart. And she's talking about like stocking up, right? In case, you know, the hydro goes out or whatever, prepping, right? She's talking about prepping. And she's talking about, you know, storing meat. She showed the hamburger and said, oh, you can cook up the hamburger and can it. Well, first of all, I wouldn't can hamburger. I've done it. I don't like it. Where your money and your nutrients are, where the money value and the nutrients are, is with the beef itself. And if you want it in a ground up state, then you grind it up yourself and you control the amount of fat that you put in the jar. Okay? And if you make it rich, well, that's easy peasy. All you have to do is go out and get some bones and do what I'm showing you, which will increase the nutrient value as well as the calorie count, especially when you're getting into that gelatin, right? But the only way you're going to do that is with straight up fucking beef. So buy it on sale and then can it, whether in chunks or ground it up. But I'd never go out of my way unless of course it was given to me from the Christmas Bureau. In that situation, if I had all this meat, no room in my freezers, because they did that one year, they gave me a ham, a turkey, and some hamburger. And they were all frozen. So I canned up everything. So in that situation, because it was given to me and I didn't want to be wasteful, yeah, I canned it. But outside of that, no, I'd rather spend the extra few dollars to get the chunk of meat, grind it up myself, make the bone broth, and can it that way. Now, but a lot of people aren't going to do that for whatever reason. I'm not casting judgment. The only time I would cast judgment is on that is if you were to cast judgment on me and call me a fool for doing what I do, right? Okay? So, to be fair, some people just don't know how to can. right? Some people are maybe not in a position to make the investment to can, right? It's a process. It takes a while to get into that routine where you're comfortable with it. So in that situation, you've got people now, I suppose, going to places like Walmart, and they're buying meat products that are in Mylar bags. The first thing that came to my mind, now I know they do that with tuna and all this crap because they're trying to phase out aluminum, as a cost-saving measure. I use Mylar bags, people, but I don't feel comfortable about putting food in Mylar bags. Okay? Like even juice drinks and all those things. Like I don't like it. Like I don't know how well, first of all, they would stand up to the test of time. Whereas if you got meat in a jar, it will sit for 20 freaking years as long as your lid is intact. As long as your lid is intact, that jar of meat will sit for 20 years. It may lose a bit of the nutrient value. It may become a little more discolored, but it will still be good. And the same rules apply as if you canned it yesterday. When you open the jar, you put it in a pot, you bring it to a boil, you get it going like this with a lid on it. You do that for 10 minutes, and if there's any freaking botulism in there, because it's not always there, but it could be there because it's a low-acid food, you've gotten rid of it, and you've got some good-ass beef to eat. Okay? Whereas this stuff, I don't know what the shelf life is, first of all, on a Mylar bag. And the reason I'm saying this now, in terms of bringing this to your attention, I just went off and bought Cracker Barrel cheese in slices. Right? Because you know me, eh? And they come in these little plastic things that got air in them. So long story short, I had to open up each and every one of them and put them in a vacuum seal bag and vacuum seal them so that if I don't get to them in the next 6 months, as long as the bag is still vacuum sealed, the cheese should be fine. If I would have left them in the containers that they came in, no, they would have started to mold because there's air in that container, that packaging, that type of packaging, right? So as I'm opening the Havarti, the Swiss. I didn't buy mozzarella. I didn't get the marble. I didn't get the cheddar because I already have those. I went with the so-called specialty ones, right? The Montgomery Jack with freaking jalapenos. There was a Haribo something, okay, and then there was Havarti, and then we had Swiss, and for whatever reason, they gave me old white. Oh, I think I did order the white cheese without the color, right? Either or. As I was going through them and taking a slice here and taking a slice there, waiting to savor the taste, what I found was all of them pretty much tasted the same. Only one stood out. Yeah. So what I'm saying is you're buying the name. And this is not the first time I've come across this with a different product. So here we're buying names, because if you look at the prices, and here's the point. If you look at the price of this one, I know you can't really see it, but it says, where's my finger? Here it is. It says $3.98. And if you look at the title, it says roast. Here we've got meatballs. It says $3.14. Here it says beef taco filling, which would be a ground beef, okay? $3.14. But just because they put the word roast on this package, they jumped it up to $3.98. I don't know what. Oh yes, I wanted to know what the serving size was. Okay, you're looking at, if that's like what is the serving size? She picks it up, so let's see if we can find it. Already. Okay, here we go. 170 grams. Oh my God, people. Okay, there are 453 grams in 1 pound. Do you hear me now? 453 grams. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Or 57, something like that. We'll just say 457 grams. in 1 pound of weight, right? Here we've got 170 grams. That's like, I'm not a math guru, right? So 340. Oh my God! Like, for the amount of money that you're paying, $398, you might as well go take that $4 and go look for some beef. And for $4 to $6 a pound, $7 a pound, even if you have to, $8 a pound. But stay away from the freaking hamburger and can the actual beef itself. Once you make the initial investments into the jars and everything, and you train yourself to do these things, that's where you're going to get better quality food, more nutritional, either or, it doesn't matter how you slice it, and you're going to be able to stretch it out a lot further. And you're going to bring in versatility. Oh yeah, because you bring it in your bone broth, and if you want your beef grounded up, you can grind it up yourself. It's easy peasy to do that with or without a freaking electric mill. You can get a hand mill, doesn't matter, right? Because that's crazy. I would never buy that, and I don't like those things. I don't know. And you're buying the name. Not even the name. Forget the name. You're buying meatballs. Oh, I want meatballs. So they get your saliva glands salivating, right? Just by reading the words. Roast beef. Oh, I want roast beef. You buy that product only because it has the word roast on it. But all these meats that are inside this, if you look at them, like if you used to say, look at chunky soup, right? If you look at chunky soup, oftentimes it's like, it's not what you think. And when you open it up, it's like they've done something with the meat, right? I'm just saying, like, there's fillers in them. I don't think they're straight up fucking meat, because I work with meat, I can with meat, I should know, right? Well, it's the same kind of thing with this. So if you want to pay more money for the word roast, go ahead. Be my guest. That's your business. But be careful when you buy this stuff, because it's like that cheese. All from one manufacturer, promoting different flavors so that the dopamines in your head twing. But when you eat one from the other to the other looking for different tastes, you really can't tell the difference outside of what's on the package by name, if you wanted to call it something. Only one cheese out of everything that I ate actually stood out. And even then, it was very, 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 very mild. So it's very misleading in relation to how much you're paying for the product. Okay? So in this situation, I don't normally buy these kind cheese, but they were 2 for $10, $5 each, which was, but they're pre-cut, and I got a whole bunch of corn canned beef in the house, and I want to do rye with corned beef on top, broiled under the oven with some Swiss cheese. So I went off and looked for Swiss cheese, and then I seen it Cracker Barrel, and I've had them before, and as long as you preserve them correctly, they will last a fair amount of time. Andre says, I don't like this cheese. I don't like the taste. It's bland, blah. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. They're sliced, and we'll just get creative with it and try different things. And corned beef on rye is one of them, right? Because, to give him just another idea of what you can do with corned beef, right? But that's, yeah, for sure. You are buying roast the name. Beef. You're buying the roast. You're buying this. This is what you're buying right here. You're paying $4 for this only because they put that in front, right? You're paying $3 for this because it's meatballs. Everybody knows when you're dealing with meatballs, you're dealing with hamburger. And when you're dealing with hamburger, it's common for companies to add fillers. And that's what you want to avoid if you can. So spend the extra couple of dollars and buy real beef and learn how to can it. Then it makes sense. So now that I've said that and got that off my chest, we're going to get into asparagus after I have my little nap, because I'm starting to get really tired. Like, my schedule is so off, people, you don't even know. But the kids will sleep for a few hours, because Amari didn't go to sleep until like 4:30 in the morning himself. Andre was like 5. Andre says, Amari, you go to sleep now, and he's sleeping. As soon as you wake up, he wakes up. He does that quite a bit. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, so you gotta just keep pushing forward. Well, sorry, limping forward. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to title this video, Only Landlords Can Eat. Yep. Well, tenants cannot. That's exactly what I'm going to call this video, because, like I said before in the past, people, I look like I'm some kind of rich bitch, right? Because, I'm always, if I'm not getting it for free, or it's growing in the yard in the past, especially, right, when I used to plant gardens and stuff, I'm buying it, okay? And, I talk about why I buy it, da-da-da-da, all right. The point is, a lot of what I do has been on a credit card, okay? From one to the other. I juggle my cards. It is what it is, right? I just looked on my welfare stub, and I get $695 for shelter. And that would be for Amari and for me. Because with Andre, I'm on a different program because he was in foster care, right? And so anyway, that's why I have to pay for teeth and all that crap. Anyway, besides that point, if the government was to give me an increase, quote unquote, on my welfare check, which is only $1,520, which is not a lot of money, people. Okay, that covers my share of the rent, the hydro, and the gas. It doesn't include the freaking internet that I have, which is a modem, right? Okay, I'm just saying, right? Because I pay the higher rent, right? And so anyway, if the government was to give another increase, like they did, a year and a half ago on the welfare checks, right? For the support end of things, technically, whatever it was. They gave 150, like at that, when the lockdowns were around, right? And, everything was getting all stressed out and blah, 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 blah. And they gave people on social assistance an increase on their social assistance right across the board. It didn't matter if they were single people, people, married people, people with kids, whatever. And that would include all the immigrants that come into Canada and go directly onto welfare. With some of them, I don't know how many of them, but some of them anyway end up being long-term. All right. I wanted to get cynical there for a minute with that French next door driving his little moped on long-term disability, selling heroin in the neighborhood as more Syrians are taking up the housing. Yeah, that's cynical. So, okay. So, when that happened, my landlady came to pick up her rent, and she started asking for more money within a month or two after that happened, in terms of that increase. And that was the first increase for people on welfare for well over 10 years or more. I just know it was a long time. Well over 10 years. And I said, well, I can't afford it. Well, yes, you can. This is how she talks to me. Well, yes, you can. I said, well, no, I can't. She says, yeah, but the government gave you more money. It was $150, people. And I'm like, yeah, well, but I need that, right? Because, it doesn't, the neighbor over there, the guy over there, he wants me to kick you out because he says that he'll help me to rent out this place and make more money, right? You should give me the money from what the government gave you because, right? The cost of living is high and everything's so expensive, and that's how she justifies it. And the person over there is paying that much for the same amount of whatever I got here, even though I've been here for 12 years and I gave my life to her in that yard, right? Okay, I'm just saying. And so it goes back to that psychological warfare, loosh harvesting, and gaslighting to demoralize you and just whatever. Like, it's not right, people. So in this day and age, landlords have the right to eat, but tenants do not. Because that's pretty much what it's coming down to, because it's a consorted effort between the property owners trying to, I don't even want to say maintain on their wealth, people, because they're already established. You see, that's the thing. They're trying to capitalize off of the situation at hand so that they can gain even more wealth, become even more powerful within their own circles of families and friends, in addition to within their own organized religion. Okay? And then it extends out into the greater community where they are God and you are, I don't know what they see us as other than trash. Because when you come to the door and you ask for more money and you're not happy with $50, you want $200 even though that's illegal to ask for. And you expect it to be given to you because you know that the government gave you another $150 on your support or whatever, on your little teeny weeny welfare check. And you expect to have it given to you first before you eat, play catch up on your bills, or whatever it may be. That is a problem, because it's not just one person thinking like that. It's a glomerate. It's multiple people as a collective group under a beehive mentality that are participating in criminal activity while our government does nothing about it. And that's why we are where we are, and we don't seem to be, it doesn't seem to be subsiding, right? So when I look back, like I said, just recently, in the last video or two, or maybe even this one, no regrets, okay? I put up a lot of flack, put up with a lot of shit. I've been used and abused with, just whatever, and it's still being held against me. Not so much by my son, unless maybe they're still throwing out a little of this and a little of that because they want more space, and they don't fully understand that if a jar was canned in 2011, let's just use that as an example, wouldn't matter if it was tomatoes, fruit, vegetables, or meat. As long as the lid is not compromised and the rust didn't get in and the air didn't get in, or it didn't pop and reseal itself so that air could get in and in, right? Because you'd see it by that time. That food is still good. Okay? For a lot of the wheats and beans and pastas and those kind of things, your worst enemy is either mold, mildew, or pests. Some kind of bug or rodents, right? That's why you use buckets, and it's hard for them to chew through. And even those black house rats, they're about the size of a fist, and they're smaller than your outside rats, those long ones, right? They can chew through buckets, because I know I moved into a house that landlord told me they had no rats, and when I moved in, within 2 days, one of them got into my bucket, and I seen the hole, and when I opened up the freaking bucket, there was the rat. And those things were all over throughout the house, and the walls and everything. It was disgusting. They lied to me. They made me give away my cats, everything, to move into that place. And then they put me to work, and then they tried to kick me out after I gutted the place for them with filthy fucking mold and all this other stupid shit, so that they could get young people to come in and start building up the basement after I gutted it, right? I had to take them to court to get back my damage deposit and everything. I should have sued their asses for what they did, right? In terms of working me to death for a year to get that place even in a position where it could have, repairs done to it. Yeah, but I had Uncle John, and I was trying to get him his own little suite, and so I was upstairs, downstairs, and upstairs they trick you. It was new car, and it was a beautiful old farmhouse with beautiful big, oh my God, windows and bay windows and whatnot. And when we went through the basement, though, the guy that apparently so-called owned the house was living down there So they rushed us real through in the dark, right? That's how they do it. And all I seen was, okay, there's a kitchen, there's this. That's enough for Uncle John, right? To set him up, and so he could, because we were just going to start sharing a place, and he wanted a house. So, and then this way, his wife, Joan, could have came, right? And they could have sat in their own little kitchen. Either or. After that guy moved out and I moved in, it was like within 2 days I found out I had those black house rats. They were everywhere, dying in the walls and everything after we de-ratted the house. And then I had to get into the basement and get it ready for Uncle John, and what a fucking nightmare. It took me a bloody year to gut the bloody thing. I used to wear a scarf over my face, people. Just taking the mold off the rafters and just everything. I had to rip out the carpets and then there was this one little, I don't know what it was, but it was a big gaping hole, like maybe 8 feet, 9 feet long by 4 or 5 feet wide. That was like a cemented I don't know what it was. And when it would rain, because they had drainage problems on the property, all the water would fill up in there. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. And then, yeah. So anyway, that's maybe why I'm so, like, seriously, like, okay. So anyway, that's kind of the reason why I'm just, like, wanting to title this, because we're at that point where these landlords, because she does, yeah, like, how much money do you get for Andre? How much money do you get for this? And it's like really none of your business how much money I get, right? Because, she thinks I owe her because of all the corruption. She doesn't acknowledge the corruption. She participates in the corruption. She justifies the corruption, right? So, and she expects the government to pick up the slack with that corruption by telling me that I need to go to the government and have them put me in subsidized housing so that I don't become homeless because of their activities, basically. She won't acknowledge the part of, well, it's your greedy ass fucking people that are basically pushing all these homeless people out into the streets. She won't acknowledge that because that's not good business, right? But she does. She said, go to the government, have the government put you up in subsidized housing. I'm like, well, that wouldn't work with me because then I'd be by myself. I couldn't bring my son with me or anybody with me, right? In terms of, having one of my adult children live with me to help me out here and there, wherever I might need that help, especially now with me going blind, because the government isn't going to subsidize my son as a tree cutter making fairly decent money, but he's locked in the past with having to pay, I don't know, $800 or something like that on his student loan when he was going to school for 7 years to college. Oh, but, we're just trash. He didn't do anything. He just went to college for 7 years and decided that he was just going to be a tree cutter in the end and write books. Well, that's, what it is what it is, but he has to pay back that money. And then his insurance for his truck is like $500, something like that, a month. Those are hefty bills. But she's always getting her rent, right? Always getting her rent. And so the mentality, though, is they should get the right to eat. Because for some reason, somehow, they elevated them so high on the pedestal that they're almost next in terms of being gods. Okay? Where people like my family, and there is a whole lot of us, okay, with or without kids, or grandkids, or anything like that, we're being conditioned to go with that shrinkflation and accept, our fate, because we will own nothing and we will be happy, but we're not going to be happy, and we all know it. To which I was watching a little TikTok thing there about shrinkflation, and I'm going to get on with this, and what do you call it? I put the link on the last video that just went up, and there was a woman in there going on about Coca-Cola with a low headspace on it. I swear, I got one of those bottles, people, because Andre went off and bought. So every now and then he gets money and he buys, right? So he bought himself like 6 little things of Coke in plastic bottles, right? And he put one in the fridge for me. And he gave to his friend and he drank, okay, whatever. Mine sat in the fridge for a few days, right? Because, So finally I wanted that pop. And he got it for me. And the thing was like almost half empty. And I said, Andre, why are you drinking my pop? Like literally. That was Nana's pop. I didn't, Well, I didn't do that, Nana. That's the way it was when I put it in there. I said, no way. That's impossible. Opened the bloody thing. It was stale. Because it was too high of a headspace. I took a sip out of it. I ended up spitting it out before I drank the second gulp. I spit it out because it was disgusting. And I'm like, okay, that's Andre, drinking half the pop and putting it back. But after seeing that little video, I believe it. I believe Andre now. Yeah. And it's like that with anything and everything, it seems, these days. So, and that's another reason why I have no regrets what I'm doing and what I've been doing, because for the few that are watching my videos, you're going to pick up little ideas here and there in terms of how to stretch out your money and get your, like with the pork. I'm going to record the pork again. And we'll really crunch the numbers this time in terms of how many jars. And well, it worked out to about $2 a jar for whatever I was doing with the pork and the beef. So that's really good, people, especially for Amari when we're talking about rich beef bone broth, rich pork bone broth, not including the beef in the jar, not including the pork in the jar. And I still have a little bit of fat for frying in my fridge. And if I wanted to, all I would have had to done was rinse off those bones and dehydrate them. And then they'd just take a hammer. And because they're already soft, it would have been perfect for my plants. To which this time, I'm going to make an effort to do that. Because then you get every penny out of what you buy when it comes to those kind of things like pork ribs and that kind of stuff, right? And your plants will love it. That's what people have to do. But the people, they just don't know how to do this stuff. But, or I don't know. So anyway, same thing with the asparagus. Let's get on with what my day. Oh my God. I have to literally ignore my eyes as if it's a pest. And I just can't get rid of the pest. So currently I got 6 of these right now. They were $7.02 a bunch. On sale. Otherwise, they would have been pushing up like $10 bucks. $9.97. Right? $9.50. So what did I save? So we'll just say $10. I saved $3 on each bunch. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, $21. I've saved $21 so far. And then I bought 3 more bunches. So that's 24, 27. So out of everything that I paid, which was a lot of money for asparagus, right? Just for these right here was $42. For these 6 was $42. Oh, there's 7 here. I bought 7. Okay, so whatever. Maybe they gave me one for free. Who knows? Sometimes they do that. Either or, I remember, I think it was $42. And when I seen that, I'm like, oh my God, $42 for freaking asparagus. But I have to do it this way, people, because one, I'm saving money. And yes, I'm using my credit card. But besides that point, my rent is being made. And so are my bills. So I'm not committing any crimes here, okay? Keep that in mind. And I'm doing it for all the right reasons, because asparagus is easy on the digestion. And this is what I have to focus on as I'm building onto Amari's cookbook, right? And the last time I bought 2, thinking I was going to do something with them, I got so busy that they ended up going in the compost. So I just threw out money, and I can't afford to throw out money like that. So this is why I'm doing it this way, because it doesn't matter to me if it's fresh. I mean, when everything's all settled down and and I can buy fresh and cook it fresh once in a blue moon or something like that. But on a more regular basis, because that's what Amari's gut, quote unquote, needs for the digestion of, right? It just makes more sense for me to do it this way, because then this way I know I have it. right? It's not going to spoil. I got it at a discount rate. And when I'm done, after doing what I'm doing, it will be no regrets. So I've got 7 here. Yeah, 7. 7. And then 3 more coming. That'll be 10 bunches at 7. So I spent at $7 a bunch. So that's $70 in asparagus, right? So, but my landlady would be like, but yeah, no, why you do that? He doesn't need that. You need to give me that $70 because you don't pay enough rent. This is what I mean by she has a right to eat, but we don't as tenants. That is wrong. And this is why I kind of want to take it directly to David E.B. and drop off what's been happening in terms of a reminder that whatever government is in power, it does not matter, people. It doesn't matter if it's the NDP, the Liberal government, the BC Liberal government, or now it's interesting how the BC Liberal government, after 16 years in power, with Gordon Campbell and his 5 great fucking goals, with Christy Clark with her AAA credit rating, disappeared off the planet of the earth. Hey, these people can come into your life and cause so much fucking havoc through their legislation. The legislation they use to their advantage. As soon as you throw the legislation at them, they deny it, they ignore it, they accuse you of this, they toss shit out of court, right? Even though it's right there written in the legislation that they're not allowed to do these things within their public union sector workforce. And so, and I'm going to tell them, I'm in a position where I'm facing homelessness. These are my circumstances. This is what's happened to my family. I have documented proof, even though your government keeps throwing it out of fucking court. But here's the documents, right? If you want further proof, I can provide that, right? In terms of, that's why we go to court, to do discovery, so that I can show my proof and get justice where justice is due, make a wrong right, right? That's their words, that's the court words, make a wrong right, right? And because otherwise, his government or any preceding government or past government all conspired under the Criminal Code of Canada through that section of it only takes 3 to, form a criminal organization, to literally push me out into homelessness where I own nothing. I will lose my grandkids, right? Because as it is, these landlords, not just one, these landlords expect the government to pick up the slack for their greed so that they can eat. And I guess, I don't know, Amari will go into foster care and get his supplemental drinks. And then that caregiver will, like, holy shit, he's not pooping. He doesn't want to eat, right? And then they're going to put a feeding tube in him, and then he'll die. And then they'll rush his body off to the children's hospital, and they'll harvest his organs, transplant them into another child, because we know that the operating team is set up there for that. Government spent $1 million just for that purpose, to bring in the right team to take organs out of little teeny weeny kids and transplant to somebody else's kid. And it's not going to be kids like me and my kids, right? Only special kinds are going to get those organs. Those ones that are allowed to eat have a right to eat. Forget the allowed part. The ones that are born with the right to eat will be the ones that will get the organs of my grandson as my landlady implodes it from the inside out this house. And then expects the government to house me. Yeah, well, if that's the case, then I guess the government's going to have to fucking figure it out. Because I can't get a doctor for long-term disability. They got me on lockdown with my little welfare check. They don't want to give me an increase. No, because otherwise it would be easier for me to go get a family doctor, because only a family doctor can fill it out. I had my eye doctor, 2 professional eye doctors, specialists. They're specialist people because of this situation. Fill out the forms, and the government refused it. Yeah, the government refused it because it wasn't filled out by a family doctor. Okay, yeah. And then when it was filled out, doctor did whatever Dr. Fasinski did, and government refused it. Said I had 1 week to appeal it. Said that coma wasn't a good enough justified cause to put me on to long-term disability. And I had 1 week to appeal. So when I went to go see Dr. Fasinski to fix the whatever needed to be fixed, he was gone for 3 weeks. And I was done. I couldn't do anything. So, of course, it just went off to the wayside. And then, when the subject came up a couple years later, when I'm on the phone with those welfare workers in that office, asking for maybe a new forms that maybe I could, I don't know what to do with it, but just send it to me anyway, and then discussing what happened, they said, well, why didn't you just appeal it yourself? I said, well, in the letter, it specifically said a doctor had to do it. Oh, well, you could have just ignored that and just submitted it yourself. Like, what the fuck is that? If you're telling me in a letter I got 1 week to have the doctor, it has to be done by a doctor to appeal it, and the doctor is gone for 3 weeks in that little window of 1 week, it's a setup, people. Because my family's targeted through that gang stalking syndicate, and it's on multiple levels. Yeah. And this is why, like, you know, when I mentioned, like, you know, people going to school, they're studying, they're getting good at this, you know, English language, and da-di-di-da, and, you know you're intelligent. You know you got some oomph to you. I wouldn't say clout, but at least some oomph, right? And you apply yourself, and, you know, you try and do the best that you can with whatever skills you've got. And then, you know, like when I'm filing those lawsuits, like I came in with some hard hitters in there, people, between the Criminal Code of Canada and all the different legislations that I wrote down, right? With all the different legislations that I cited to hold my government to account to their criminal activity through their public union sector workers in partnership with organized crime. And they blew it off like I was frivolous. I was scandalous. I was a waste of the court's time. Yeah. And then they hid it under case law that didn't even apply to any of us in this house. As my landlady is hounding me for more money because she has a right to eat and we do not. So this is why I do it this way. So now, what's going to happen is I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. Obviously, my biggest issue is my eyesight. That's what makes things really, really hard. But what can I do? I only have so much time left. Right? And so when you're doing this kind of stuff, these have to be blanched. So I have to blanch these. I'm doing these ones first. The other ones are coming in between 7 and 8 tonight. And it's just, all it is 3 packs. Oh, it's so funny. I'm getting good. Hey, you gotta be proud of me. My biggest shop was dirt. I'm telling you. 3 of these. And 2 bags of organic carrots. That's it. And I'm like, well, what else do I want to buy? I'm looking, thinking. Nothing. That's a huge accomplishment for a poor person, okay? I'm just saying. All right. So, because I'm on the last mile, that's why. Right? I tell Andre, the last mile is always the hardest. You don't know when you don't know when you're going to be off the last mile. You know, it could be a month, it could be a year. It's just, you know, you're on the last mile, and it's going to take a little while to get off it. And I'm on it right now, and boy, I'll tell you, I'll be so glad when I'm off this last mile, and I can get on with other things, and I can only hope by the grace of God, honest God, I swear, that I will still be able to at least see something. Yeah, I hope so. And then, by that time, you know the economy is going to even tank more, right? The ones that are around me, like my son and his wife, not so much Tisha, because she's going to an island, right? So, whatever she's going to do, she'll do it there, but she won't do it here, right? But my son and his wife, they'll be like, oh, there's Mom's pot. What was that for, Mom? I'll be like, well, bring it to me so I can touch it because I can't see it no more. And I'll feel it, and I'll be like, oh, well, that's what this is for, and that's how you use it. And when you go and you take food from the house, you'll know what pot to use to repeat the process for yourself. And by that time, the cost of food will be so expensive in combination with that shrink inflation, not to mention the quality of food deteriorating, that they're going to want to do it. They're going to want to do it. And if it gets to that point, then I can go to my dust. I won't be in a grave. I'll more than likely be cremated and just be dust, right? I can go to my dust in peace. Yeah. Yeah. Uncle John will be there waiting for me. Shimei will be there waiting for me. And Sierra will be there waiting for me. And so will my grandmother. I don't know who else will be waiting there, but maybe one or two other people that were close to me before they died. But definitely Uncle John, Shimei, Sierra will be there, and my grandmother. Okay, so when you're doing stuff like this, now I'm going to be grinding up the majority of this. That's what I bought it for, because it's for Mari for the most part. If I want to make cream of asparagus soup, I could, right? And I probably will do this again. It's just I didn't want to overwhelm myself too much with this sidekick that I'm on. In other words, I got those 4 racks of pork ribs in my fridge that need to be dealt with, right? But they're vacuum sealed, so they'll be fine till tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be attempting to get on with that, and I'll start another video, and then I'll walk you through it, and then that will be. I so wanted to order another rack. They're like only $18, right? You save half price, but that will leave me 6. And I'm like, oh, dude, don't stress yourself out too much. Come on, you're working too hard here. Like, calm down, Karen. You can always do it again in a couple of months, like, because we're caught up in that quickening with the loosh harvesting that's around us. Like, it keeps those dopamines going so that you won't want to do stuff like this, so that you break your spirit and you will give up, and then you will be satisfied with having nothing. And you will find a way to be happy with it because you will have no freaking choice. That's not the way I am to be thinking. No, I'm going down swinging. So, you have to blanch these before you can put them in the dehydrator. And you want to get the most out of your money. In other words, try not to waste it. Oh, speaking of that, I'm so disappointed in myself. When I peeled those parsnips and those carrots, man, my compost bucket filled up like this between them, and the parsnips peels and stuff, they smelled so good. And I'm like, oh God, I should go out of my way and make vegetable stock. But I'm like, no, Judy, you got too much shit to do. That's like last on the list. So next time. So what's going to happen in that situation is, after it's all said and done and I'm a little caught up, because I have to remember, I still have to wash my costumes and stuff and get them up on that my main hanging rack. And then I have to get into that playroom and set up that other hanging rack so I can get on with maybe trying to, I don't know, sell some stuff or something. I don't know. But besides that point, I'm going to work on maybe trying to clear out a little bit of a freezer space just for that kind of stuff. Because if I could have thrown that in the freezer and waited for another day when I wasn't so busy with other things, and I had a few more other, like this, for example, like, for what it's worth, you cut off the little end here. Well, as a matter of fact, I could probably do this, because this is what people need to do. For as foolish as it sounds, this is what people need to do in order to start getting the proper nutrients into their systems, because you're not getting it from the grocery stores in the right amount quality, the whole 9 yards. So I cut off this little end. Honestly, it was unnecessary for what I'm doing here, right? But for the amount of these things that I have, you see, because they're a little dry, right? You can see they're a little dry. So I'm cutting them off. I don't have to, but you know, it's easy enough to just throw those in a bag and throw them in the freezer with the rest of your carrot peels, parsnip peels, whatever. And then when you're ready to make a vegetable stock, just take everything out of the freezer and let it unthaw and throw it in a couple of, you know, separate between 2 pots, and you're good to go. Yeah, and then can it up. Can it up, but it would have to be 75 minutes in a pint because it's a low acid food. But well no, not necessarily, because it's a broth. As long as it has no food particles in it, it's less. It's like 25 minutes, 20 minutes. It's 25 minutes, right? But as soon as you start adding the actual vegetables and stuff, then it jumps up to 75. Because if it's like that for meat, right? So it would be the same for a vegetable broth. That's the only thing that I regret doing right now, what I've been doing. I felt like, oh, that just would have made such beautiful, delicious vegetable broth. But, you know, I don't have time for that right now. So next time, now, in terms of this, I guess, depending on what you want, and yeah, I'm not done yet. So we cut off the little end if we want, just for whatever, good measure. And then, because the stalks get really hard, right? Now, mind you, I'm going to be grinding it up, but in this situation, I don't want to, I spent way too much money to be experimenting with grinding this up and then finding out that these ends are not grinding up as nice as I'd like them to. So before I allow that to happen, and I got these little, you know, slivers of whatever that don't want to grind up, just peel them off. Peel off the ends. And of course this one doesn't work. Just peel off the ends. Now you see, in this situation, considering how much I spent for this shit, I think I can't see though, that's the problem. I think I am going to, I have to get a different one. I think I am going to freeze these. I'll find some way to freeze these. And, because honestly, I kind of want to try making vegetable broth. It's not something I do. I don't need to. But in the sign of the times, it might be a good idea. Especially when you're buying in bulk, like I am, for whatever reason you're doing it, and then you're going out of your way to do the things that I'm doing, whether you're canning it, dehydrating it, and then you get, where's all that peel? And then you get the leftovers that will start to multiply. When I was shredding the, what is that called? The parsnips and the carrots, I do by hand, scraping myself. It hurts. So I have to do this. I put it on last night. I worked all day with no Band-Aid. It was quite painful, but that's just a part of kitchen work. And it's the same Band-Aid from last night, and I've already washed dishes like 3 times. Washed some jars. So, right now, this one wasn't washed. I'm going to wash these anyway, and then I'm going to do this. And then, after I'm done, we're going to see how much I get in the bag. I'm going to write on the bag asparagus peels, and I'm going to throw that in the freezer, right? And then, over the next little while, before I decide to shred parsnips, and I'm going to finish some carrots here, but there's a certain amount that I want, right? As usual, right? The next time I go as far as doing that, I don't know about the carrots. I don't know. it depends. It depends. Really have no freezer space right now. That's the problem. Otherwise, I'd keep them right along with this stuff. And then, after doing that for a while, I definitely would attempt to make a deep, rich vegetable broth. So, you peel it, just that part down there, to the best of your ability, right? It's very hard for me to see because it all blends in together. So that when you cut it, it shouldn't be so stocky. It shouldn't be that stocky. Oh, it's good. You know what smell? You know what it tastes like? Honest to God. Do you know what that tastes like? See, I think I missed some. It tastes like brand new sweet peas from the pod. You know when you go to a pea patch? Yeah, see, I missed it because I can't see it, eh? The part that I peeled off came off really nice. The part I couldn't see, look what's happening. Where is it? Stuck in my tooth. So I don't know how well I'm going to be able to peel this because I can't see it. It's so hard to see. And then the more I strain my eyes, I get a headache. But if I go slow and try not to have panic attacks, right, this is where you have to train yourself not to get mad. Okay? Get frustrated, all that stupid shit. Be afraid. Even though you are. You just have to pace yourself through it. So I think I got it. And if see how nice it is? Right? And then when you cut it, it cuts easier. And when you eat it, even just like this, it tastes like a sweet baby pea right out of a pod from a pea patch. It's delicious, actually. I like it. You learn something new every day. Well, maybe not every day, but oh, that's so good. So when you grind it up, you don't have to worry about these things. Or if you keep it, like if you wanted to dehydrate these things like this, right, all the way, just, you don't have to worry about that stringy shit. Nope, it's gone. It is completely gone. So all you have to do is just figure out how high up on this you have to go to prevent that from happening. So maybe I'd go a little higher. Yeah. But that is delicious. And these ones, these peels and everything that I'm doing here, definitely I'm going to save them. And I'm going to freeze them. And as a matter of fact, the organic carrots that I got coming in today, right, when I get to them in the next day or two, because once I get the pork on the stove cooking, and I'm going to do it between two pots, right, I'll have a little free time to do some laundry, right there, and get the next batch of whatever I need to dehydrate, right? And in that situation, it would be carrots and probably a couple bags from my fridge. And that's where I need Andre to go through the carrots. I'll wash them first. I'll cut off what I think I can see. And then I'll have Andre look at them, double check, right, for anything bad on it. And then when I peel them, those peels I am going to take to and put in a freezer somewhere. I don't care where it is. I'll find a spot for it. And I'm going to save that for making vegetable broth one day. But before that happens, I'm going to scrub the carrots with a little brush take off the ends, anything bad. Have Andre look at it, double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Then I'll peel it. Yeah. And then I'm going to freeze it. And I'll probably end up doing more parsnips at some point. Because I just washed my beautiful jars, my brown jars. I just washed them. The first 2 boxes I bought 12 and 12, right? 12 this size and 12 pint size. I mean, sorry, quart size. 12 quart size and 12 of these, and I just washed some of these and the quart size. And I want a quart size of carrots, dehydrated carrots, all ground up nice, in a quart size jar for keeping it close by, handy, or at least this size for amari, and then the quart size will be tucked away, and right for another day to either refill this, or maybe I want to just make cream carrot soup. Plus I have old shredded carrots from 2011 in wine jugs, like this color jar, or even clear for that matter. The ones that are in the clear jar have lost their color a bit because they've been in there so long, right? But it's never been opened, so they would still be fine, believe it or not. I do believe that. And in a situation like that, you know, when times get real tough, or you're trying to pay down pay down your bills and keep up with the rent, you're going to want that food, okay? That you have a roof over your head, that is, right? You can take a handful of those ones and mix them in with the new ones, and you wouldn't even know the difference. I'm just saying. And then, now, keep in mind, it looks like a lot. It looks like a lot, right? But it's not. Once you shred it up, I don't know. I'll be lucky to get a full quart. I don't think I will. I might. I won't know until I try it. All I know is I want to do it again at some other point. Right? And you want them really, really crispy. I did not blanch these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind them up. Oh man, it tastes so good. Those are parsnips. I'm going to grind them up. And after they're ground up, I'm going to put them back in a dehydrated as a powder. Andre? What? Can you see what's going on? I'm going to put them back in the dehydrator as a powder. Just move my finger around with it just a little bit, just to make sure that everything gets dry between the carrots. More so these because of the sugar content, right? And I'm going to jar them up. And the ones that are going to be put away for at least a little while will be vacuum sealed. Where these size jars, I don't know, I don't have no room in here. But I have to figure it out. I need to keep them available where I can use them regularly with amari. Especially with this kind of stuff. Right? So that's basically what's happening today. I'm working with vegetables. And then I have to cook up my spinach. I have like 6 bunches of spinach. I have to cook up my 2 kales, or 1 kale or whatever, 2. 1 green, 1 red, to put with the spinach, to put in those jars, those glass bowls with the lids that I showed you in the fridge, as well as I've got things that, like parsley and that type of stuff that I want to dry, to which I think some of it I'm just going to tie a string around it and hang it upside down and let it dry that way. Just spread it out and let the air dry it. We got parsley and mint versus putting it in a dehydrator. And then the 1 kale, because I want to, you know, make that parsley for making beef gravy mixes and that type of thing. That's how people are going to improve their diets, is the way, by doing it this way. But the thing is, they're so far behind at the gate. It's going to be so hard to get to the point where you look online and the only thing you want is dirt. I'm just saying, right? And the only reason you went and bought 3 more of these is because of what I'm doing right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it, right? And then the next time it comes on sale, oh, you know, I can do it again. The next time it comes on sale. Right? This will be enough to get me started. Hold on. See? Okay, my back is killing me. Every now and then it happens. Every now and then that happens. You can see what's going on here. It was very extremely difficult. I'm sorry, but I'm not throwing that into the compost. I'm not. I got to figure out something. I'm either going to dehydrate it and then reconstitute it to make vegetable broth, because don't forget, I got the carrots coming and some more of these, right? These cost $70, people. And I got 3 more bundles coming. So I don't know where to put it. And I don't have time to, I have to do the pork first in order to, the bone broth. I don't know how well these will hold up. They'll probably hold up for a couple, 2-3 days in the fridge, in a bag. And then I'm just going to make vegetable broth. Yeah, I think so, right? Get my money's worth out of it. Okay, so I got everything in 2 parts. These, I don't know. I'll grind up some of them, but some of them, I'm just going to like take these ends and break them up after the fact, right? And the other pieces are in the other part of this, and this has holes, so blanch it. I'm not blanching it for 3 minutes, not these. And the other pieces are very small, so I'm going to make it pretty quick. I'm not even going to bring it to a boil too much. And if it is, it's just bring it to the boil. Like it will be boiling. Put these in. The other tray is much fuller, right? Put these in, and I don't know. I don't want to overcook them, right? So hold on a minute. You don't get much for $70. Now the peels and everything I stuck in the fridge up here. I just stuffed it in there, right? But the carrots I'm not going to deal with. Oh, my hair. The carrots I'm not going to deal with until after I get the pork mostly done, right? Because after I'm done the pork, for the most part, then I'm gonna stew the peels of the carrots. Obviously, the what do you call it? This stuff, asparagus. I do have another bag of parsnip in my fridge. I don't know how it's holding up. Either or, I think I am gonna attempt to make a vegetable broth after it's all said and done. Hold on. Okay, so basically, I only cooked the heads of the asparagus when it started to boil for a minute. That was it. Okay? Then I took it to the sink and ran it under cold water. These, I'm just gonna wait until it comes to a boil. As soon as it basically comes, and I don't got a lot of space here. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's rising up. Oh my God. That's all I need is an overflow. Hold on. You've seen that, eh? Okay, so the water line really rose up fast. So anyway, I'm not boiling this for a minute because these are very small little pieces. You can see that, right? As soon as it comes to a boil, I'm taking it out. And even then, I know, like when I did broccoli, honestly, I bet you these things are done now. For what it's worth, because you don't want to cook them, right? So take a bite. Yeah. Yeah, maybe just bring it to a boil. Because it's going to get ground up into powder anyway. And then you're going to end up cooking it. Because otherwise, you know, you also remove a lot of the nutrients, right? And even then, like I said, bringing it to a boil, I don't think is a good idea. But don't know. It's kind of crunchy. You can hear it. It's good though.